once you've given up the ghost, just like Lazarus, you'll know there's an operator, some strange passenger inside. To that strange power I'm resigned like an iron anchor. I'm just a ghost in your stereo, the fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost song I wrote, and I'm just a ghost in your stereo. Shadows on the blinds, your heart's a mercenary, but like a dancer on the wire. Come the sparks of frayed desire as a fire's carried. I'm just a ghost in your stereo, the fading memory of a shipwreck in the undertow. You're just a lost song I wrote, and I'm just a ghost in your stereo.
Little glitch. We're all right. We're good to go.
Say in your mind, say to yourself, I am more than my physical body, because I am more than physical matter. I can perceive that which is greater than the physical world. I deeply desire to expand, to experience, to know, to understand, to control, to use such greater energies and energy systems as may be beneficial and constructive to me and to those who follow me. I deeply desire the help and cooperation, the assistance, the understanding of those individuals whose wisdom, development, and experience are equal to or greater than my own. I ask their guidance and protection from any influence or any source that might provide me with less than my stated desires.
questions about reality. But do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family that explores your consciousness. I'm the void one.
Welcome to Lighting the Void. All broadcasting live from a shack on a hill in the Mossy Creek bottoms of Cane Creek, Arkansas. This is Lighting the Void. It's Cosmic Conditions. It is December the 2nd, 2024. And Mary's here once again to talk about the new moon. The new moon in December. This month we'll be having, by the way, 2 new moon shows. I don't know how many months there is that do that. What is it? It's like 3 months out of the year that does that, Mary? We get 2 this month. Maybe.
Yeah, it's pretty rare. That's why it's called the black moon. It's pretty rare. I think we get more of an occasion of 2 full moons in 1 month, like the blue moon. I think that's like every 4 years. I don't really recall how many times we get the dual new moons, the black moon. It's something we can all look up later. I think it's rarer than the blue moon, the 2 full moons in 1 month. But what it gives us, hi everybody, happy holy days, what it gives us is an ability to have a stronger month out of this whole year anyway. It is the strongest month for optimistic, intentional seed planting. So it's a time to be generous of spirit, Sagittarius, and it's also a time to have optimistic actions, not optimistic expectations. Stop expecting the external to do it for you. We've got some retrograde cycles, and that points things inward. So it's more of an inward appreciation, attitudes of gratitude time.
Right on. I'm down with that.
It really is, and I can tell you that. And Joe and I were just very briefly, noting that there's an intensity of kind of like everything matters and yet it's scattered type of a vibration. I mean, we've got some very intense things that are beginning to orbit around us. A lot of people are still having in America, well, actually my clients in the UK and Germany were talking about how it's bizarre over there. They said, if you think it's bizarre in America, it's pretty bizarre over in England too. And in Germany, they're like hoping that whatever can be a course correction in this country, in America, kind of filters out over to them because they're actually, and I said, oh, you guys are really kind of watching America? I said, we kind of have censored news over here right now. And they said, yeah, no, we're keeping a real strong eye on the trends that are going on that might be changing in America. And I found that interesting from my international clients because, as we all know here in America, if you study anything astrological, this whole Pluto and Capricorn saga from 2008 has also been the first Pluto return on the young country of America, United States, the Republic of America. And so it's been the first real tower moment of what needs to be exposed, just like the tower card in a regular tarot deck. The tower is, they call it the tower, but when you look at the visual of it, there's a big lightning bolt that's striking the top of a stone or a brick tower, castle tower, and there's 2 figures, it looks male, female, being blasted out of the upper part of that tower, the very high part of the tower. And you think about people who live in an ivory tower, people who feel like they're above anything and everything else. They've made the money, they have the connections, they're in power. They take vacations in the south of France. They have generational lineage of royalty or deep state or the Hamptons or whatever it is as far as the political genre all over the world. Kings and queens and knights and jesters and fools, and so they get heady with their power, the BlackRock and all of that, and they start feeling in the Capricorn mode as if because I'm entitled, because I'm privileged, everybody else is like an ant farm, and I'll just crush them if they don't stay in the little lanes that I want them to put in the ant farm. And with Pluto now moving finally for the next 19 years into the very humanitarian, we the people sign of Aquarius, and then in this month, toward the end of the first week, Venus will be moving into Aquarius. We're less emotional, and we are more aware and awake to the energetic epiphanies that we need to ascend to. So in that tarot card of the Tower, this lightning bolt, when you really study tarot and you go back, they shortened the name of it. The card was originally called the Lightning Struck Tower of God. So like God, the heavens, the divine striking those that were in their tower with the moats of alligators around them, and you can't get in, I'm invincible. And so then something supernatural, something of the heavenly abode strikes them. And so I kind of look at that lightning bolt. We wanted to kind of give a short word salad to that, it would be enlightenment. There is an enlightenment, a bolt of light, enlightenment that comes onto what was, what is, a very challenging, a very trying, sometimes very painful series of lessons and losses that at the time you and I can't quite see through that fog of why is this happening to me? This is so painful. This was so sudden. This was such a seemingly unnecessary, certainly unexpected loss in my life. And that for some people is health, financial, intimate. Just sometimes my clients say it's such a loss for me psychologically to have gone through what I went through as a child and then go through therapy and get away from addiction and then actually sit and try to course correct with that relative, with that parent, with that whatever, and, to have worked very hard on overcoming my triggers, my subconscious triggers, and then to still have that person shut down, disassociate, and look at you and go, what it is, and I didn't do that. I'm not responsible for that. And it's not even that the person seeking the enlightenment is simply wanting to let the tower collapse that created the abusive divide in the first place. Right. And you realize that sometimes the other simply can't take accountability, or won't, for the things that they set into motion. And I think the nice ones out there, those of us that are empaths, those of us that got in the pathway of narcissistic behaviors, we're like the psychic sponges and the emotional empaths, and we want to heal, and we love to see other people healed. It's really hard for empathic personas to wrap their head around it's hard for them to believe that someone can deliberately be so manipulative that they set out from the beginning to have the great fall, not to let people see that they're leading them over to the edge of the cliff, like in the Bible where the demons were cast out, they went into the pigs, they went into the swine, and then the pigs jumped off the cliff type of a thing, just to kind of take the demonic energies with them. So jumping off the cliff, the tower being collapsed, I believe over the next 30 to 40 days, we're going to have a lot of eye-opening piercings. We're going to have a lot of seeing beyond the veil type of a thing. I don't believe that Halloween, Samhain is the only time, but there's the thinning of the veil. I believe that this year, the Yuletide period, that third week of December, that coming into the winter solstice in the northern hemisphere, the solstice point around the 20th through the 22nd of December is going to be very heralding. It's like I can hear trumpets being sounded, and I believe that all of us, regardless of our individual sun signs or moon signs or rising signs, it's bigger than just the starry language or the tools of astrology, the star logic. This has to do with the divine intervention. And I'd like to say right off the bat that when I say that this Sagittarius season is more about the arrow being turned inward, like the insight isn't out there on a target or a bullseye, which Sagittarius is normally all about, the quest, the vision quest, the seeking of truth, the expansion of truth through adventure and philosophical pursuits, and again, soul searching. The seeker is one of the archetypes of Sagittarius. Robin Hood, and his merry men going out to bless the common people, take from the rich, give to the poor, all for one for all. That's a very good description of a Sagittarius energy. But this time the arrow's pointing inward. We've got that Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius, and those of you that know just little bits about astrology and their rulerships, Mercury resides and governs and directs the signs of Gemini and Virgo. So right now, Mercury's in the opposite sign of its power. It's in Sagittarius, and so it's creating a cycle right now where we don't want to get into debates. We don't want to tell anyone, you're wrong, I'm right. It's more about, wow, describe to me why you see it that way. That's interesting. We can agree to disagree, but it's right now Sagittarius is about, if you listen to someone while you're watching their actions, you're going to get the real storybook to open up for you. And then we have Jupiter, which is the natural ruler of the sign of Sagittarius. Like this season is ruled by Jupiter, which is Zeus. In mythology, Jupiter expands. So we've got Mercury opposite Jupiter. Jupiter rules the sign of Sagittarius. Mercury rules the sign of Gemini. And there's a real fancy term in astrology called mutual reception, which means they're visiting each other's signs, not in their home signs. So they're kind of in their opposite signs. Look at it that way. Jupiter's in its opposite sign. Mercury's in its opposite sign that it rules. So we have a real dance going on. I'd like to, for you intermediate astrology students out there, for those of you that have done a little bit of the deep dive into astrology, when students or clients say to me, what's the main focus, without getting too heady and technical with astrology, because God knows that gets intense and or boring or challenging, is if you look at, in the first part of December, if you look at the areas of your charts that are the houses of Gemini and Sagittarius, they're exactly opposite each other. So if you'll just look at the verbal dance, how we're going to clarify, how we're going to teach, how we're going to learn, what's the style. There's all kinds of styles of learning and teaching. And so it's the story to be told, the story to bear witness to, the story to be a part of. It might be some kind of dual, teamwork, collaboration, win-win, like you might be connecting up with a fun new ally, a creative friend, someone that joins you in your vision. It isn't necessarily going to be our sensual sexual partner right now. They may be in our life, orbiting around, but the bigger picture is, how am I going to expand my vision and my horizons? And believe it or not, I'm an astrologer that doesn't look at Mercury retrograde as a bad thing. I don't. We get so caught up in the TikTok world, and I got to do this, and I got to do that, and damn it, I don't want to do that, and oh my God, I forgot to do that. I got sidetracked. Mercury retrograde, I see, is if you stay aware and you prioritize what needs to be truly focused upon, the bigger things, like just your top 3 things on your list, not 20 things, your top 3 things. Mercury retrograde can help you put a bow on some things that were beginning to bloom 3 months ago. Mercury retrograde's about every 2.5 to 3 months. So if you go back 3 months back, let's take the bigger month. If you go back 3 months prior to early December, you go back into the Mercury retrograde. This year they're kind of dancing around in fire. So it's our enthusiasm, it's our inspiration. Who or what or how do I both inspire someone else with my ideas, and how am I inspired to take the ideas and my vision further, bigger, win-win type of a thing? Because Sagittarius is very optimistic. So of all the Mercury retrogrades, I'm not real upset about the fact that if Mercury's got a retrograde, it's doing it in a very optimistic, Jupiter-ruled sign of Sagittarius. We can get out of a lot of tight spaces by letting our humor take over, our wit, our candor, our humor, and encouraging words. So if someone seems to be just freaked out that their schedule's getting all discombobulated, that there's delays or there's technical glitches or, I can't get the car to do this or that. Oh, my God, I got to go buy a battery, that kind of a thing. Just realize that if you truly understand the divinity of supernatural grace, sometimes those delays, sometimes those it's not quite starting up yet, is Spirit also protecting you. Also, like, just let me direct this, just let me control this. And of course, you don't really want to be late, and of course, you don't really want to have something stalled out. But if you're just honest with somebody, I didn't think the battery was going to die today, didn't think my phone wouldn't work today, didn't think I'd have to go back to the house, and I didn't think I'd lose my keys, and I got to find those. I do believe there's also a supernatural grace in that sometimes, besides the obvious lesson of teaching us to be a little more organized with where we put our keys, or maybe managing our time schedules a little bit better. But right now I would say that we all need to allow, and when you're hearing this, allow others as well as yourself that there could be a possible change of plans, and it can move up, not just be delayed. Sometimes in a Mercury retrograde cycle, you thought something was going to happen by December 7th or 8th, and all of a sudden on tomorrow or the 4th, it's going, how you doing? It's got to happen now. Okay. So it's like, or you go for said appointment, there is no delay or consultation, and then all of a sudden you get the surprising news of, okay, well, the dog needs this, or no, you need to go for further testing, or this needs to happen over here, or no, it's not just your wiper blade. So you've got to allow that Spirit may be wanting to get some needed truth to you, or to avoid a bigger problem by there might be a minor delay, or there might be something that has to be repaired so there's not a bigger bill or a bigger problem. Like it could have been much worse. It could have been a much bigger delay, like cancel out total plans. So,
yeah, I kind of see Mercury retrograde like what you're to brush over. Look at, like you just said, look over everything. Just go back and look at everything. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, retrograde backwards. And so sometimes, people will say, hindsight is 20/20. When I look back at what was important to me 3 to 4 months ago, if I look back, it's December. So if I go back from November, October, September, if I go back to late August and September of this year, when we were in a Virgoian cycle with the sun, which Mercury also rules, what was it that I really thought was going to happen, and how did I really think it was going to happen, and who came into my life and who left my life, and wow, there was a new creative, inspirational person that I did start texting more, that I did start communicating with more, and that I did end up meeting, and I did end up traveling, or they traveled to me, or they did help me resolve an issue, and I feel more enlivened by this new social circle that's widening for me. Mercury retrograde can kind of put to rest some of the people that have been draining your energy. And I'm not judging anybody. I'm just stating the fact that where the energy drains have been, and hey, we can be the energy drain for somebody too. So it kind of puts spaces in between the non-productive or the non-creative, or maybe, just like when you put a toy up on a shelf, or you build a model and you put it up on the shelf, or you don't play that video game, you don't play Astrobots so much for a while. It's like, okay, I went to the next level, and I'm tired of taking 3 times to fight that next creature to get to the next level. So sometimes we take a break from even what's supposed to relax us of the video game, and we actually trade in the tech for nature. So Sagittarius, you think about half man, half horse, and the degree. It's interesting to me, Joe, that and lovely audience, that this new moon is at 9 degrees of Sagittarius, and the second new moon of this December of 2024 is also in the numerological 9 degrees. It's just in Capricorn. 2025, our new year, the portal that's opening up, adds to a numerological 9 year. And when you blend the numbers and colors and the stars together, 2025 is a year for all of us, besides our personal numerological cycles and years. 2025 in and of itself is the top of a cycle, because when we get to 2026, it's a 1. We're starting a new 9 to 10 year cycle. So 2025 is going to be wrapping up and revealing and giving us the prizes, the wins, and also what we need to close a chapter on of the last 9 years. So if you subtract 9 from 2025, that's where the cycle 1 started. So it's kind of something to put into a, kind of contemplate it, kind of take it into your meditation. And in your meditation, when Mercury's retrograde, if you'll say, wow, 2025 is going to be, it's a wrap. It's a wrap. It is what it is. And take that Buddhist perspective of like, I came, I saw, I conquered, and this is what it's supposed to be. This is how fate, this is how destiny is dancing with me right now. And so 2024 added to the infinity, the 8th. This is the final month of our 8th numerological year. And an 8, whether it's easy or difficult, whether we have a lot of interesting beginnings or we're learning things the hard way, an 8-year is expansive. Everything seems to loom large in an 8-year. It looks like it's going to happen. It gets really big, really close, and then it can drop really big as well. But the people that come into our life in a universal 8-year have purpose and meaning, and it may not all be expressed in 2024. So the new people that have come into our life, the new engagements that we've had, both business, friendship, personal, the relationships that have seemed to fade, and yet the expansion is that they're fading, that they're, decreasing. The expansion seems to be that they're moving on to being put on a shelf, or that's it for this lifetime, that's certainly it for now. That's an expansion that we need to trust as well. If it seems like it's backing up or backing off, better is wanting to take its place. And that's not casting any aspersions or judgments on a particular person, job, or thing. It's just look at the actions. Just stop with the words and look at the actions of what's being delivered, or promises, 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 and it's not being delivered. It's not being kept. And then it starts to be falsehoods. It starts to be, you got a lot of pretty words, but you don't deliver on your words, so you don't keep your promises, so I don't want to keep you in my life.
That's been the past 10 years
maybe
for
they
me.
Need to,
probably 10 years.
A lot of people.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, 10 is a 1. And make it easy. Do the math easy. Go back 10 years from 2025. Go back.
It's almost like what you're talking about has already started to happen. Everything that you just said has already started to happen. The creative people, the letting go of the other people, the new people that are here, Of course, I do play video games, Mary, and I will be going in nature, both, because I enjoy them both.
Of course. Well, that's good, though. That's good. No, the technical stuff, brain games, other people used to do crossword puzzles, and some people still like Sudoku, but the technical, the video games, the video games also, study astrology, study tarot, study colors, study numbers. I mean, those are all brain-enhancing exercises. So it's not, I tend to have a bit of for violent video games. It's like, oh my God, the world has enough violence. Go find the video games that are technically challenging and, help you, work with the controls quicker, and build your coordination. But I'd like everybody to back away from just the killing of everything, the gory video games. I
love the gory stuff. It must be the Aries in me. I like destroying stuff.
It is. I was going to say it's the Aries, and Aries rules the blood. So Aries is the warrior,
and the justice stuff too. The stuff where you get to just hand out extreme justice to people on games. That's awesome, and in real life too. It's fun.
And what's the balance? Okay, and what's the balance to Aries? What's the opposite sign of Aries, Joe?
Libra.
Right, so that's justice.
Yeah.
So see, if you're in Aries, you're working out and you're drawn to Libra dynamics. If you're a Libra, you probably are acting like an Aries. And if you're an Aries, you crave the things of Libra, like you want only a one-to-one relationship.
Right.
You want to do something as a team player. If you're if you're Aries, your balance is Libra. So you believe in love. And you believe in the vision quest of love and how it can expand everybody's chakras and auras. And as a team, oh my God, you can do so many things, both in business and in intimacy. If you're a Libra, you probably don't realize that you can show up to be very impatient and testy, and you're an easygoing person, but you get aggravated so quickly in traffic, and you don't like people getting in your way. And if people get snarky with you, you're going to come right back at them. You're not going to play the social polite. So our sign, you learn what sign you are, but the part that brings out the best in you is if you look at the fact that as you look in the mirror, you're not realizing that if you're a Scorpio, you're probably dealing with Taurus dynamics, like how's your money management? Do you worry about that the most? Where most Tauruses I've ever met, they're like all about sex, and everything they say about Scorpio, the Tauruses are out there chasing the skirts and the pants. I mean, the Tauruses
they're
are like,
focused on
well,
pleasure.
I feel better when I've...
Yeah, that's it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Absolutely.
So, hey, can I ask you a question before we go into the signs, Mary?
Yes, sir. Sure, absolutely.
So, I did a show the other day about Pluto and Aquarius, but I want your spin on it. I know it doesn't have to do with Sag and the moon, but I think that's some big time energy, that's coming, and I just want to know what you think about that.
Yeah, there's divine timing. Okay, so I see Pluto. Pluto is the first. They said Scorpio was ruled by Mars. Then Pluto's discovered. Then they tried to demote Pluto as a planet. I never did demote Pluto as a lesser energy, even though it was further out in our own galactic sphere. Pluto is it's the whole resurrection thing. It's the death and the resurrection thing. So before you look at Pluto changing signs, because it's the slowest moving transit planet that we deal with, Pluto is about it's got to morph. It's got to change. It's the phoenix, and the phoenix doesn't rise unless it rises from that spontaneous combustion of its own demise or its own ashes. And many events in our life feel like that. We're in a relationship. We think that's it. We're in a job. This is going to be my career. Oh, my God, I'm learning so much. And then there's burnout. Literally, they call it, I'm burned out. I'm shut down. I'm burned out. And so we have to, if that was once a hardwired dream or a hardwired quest, then we have to realize we got too attached to that person or that dream or that money or that educational pursuit, and it overcame us, it overwhelmed us, and we got addicted to how we wanted to direct it and control it. So Pluto, Hades, the Lord of the underworld, is saying to us, yes, it's good to look underneath our motives. What are your true motives? We often hide those from ourselves. I mean, sometimes an insecure person doesn't realize that they're going into a lesser than relationship or a lesser than job because at least they know more about that job. It's not stretching their creative limits, but they'll be able to slide by. Like the people that I've worked with over the years that say, well, I'm really not in love anymore in this relationship, and I really could get out of this roommate or this marriage, but I really don't want to split the money, and I don't know what's out there. Maybe what I've got, even though it's not what I want anymore, I really don't want to divide the money. I don't want to go through the hassle. So Pluto is about breaking it down so you can either make it or break it. So it's that cycle where we come to the reckoning point. So when it goes in Aquarius,
okay, cool.
Aquarius is everything to do with divine connection. It's the heavenly. It's the wisdoms of the indigenous cultures that seem so unmodern, like, the Hopis that still live up on a Mesa Plateau, or what were the ancient teachings of the Hindu Upanishads or the Sufis or the yogis, and why is meditation? Why do we avoid that? Why do our eyes have to be on screens all the time? So Some of these ancient wisdoms that are timeless truths are going to come in really strong with Pluto and Aquarius, and we're going to see the best of that when Venus goes into Aquarius around the 7th and 8th, because Venus is going to conjunct Pluto. And then when we get to January 3rd and then January 17th of 2025, we're going to start to feel this Aquarian dance. And the Aquarian dance is thinking more of the larger vision, being a visionary, and being able to not just focus some kind of win-win for yourself, but to be able to, your footprints on this earth, although can be in a limited sense in the physical body, Aquarius is about, and what difference will your footprints make? And what difference will your passion create? And what your desires that you have? Yes, you deserve to be in love, and yes, you deserve to prosper, but what type of community or what type of tribe or what type of truth teachings could you so get into that it's not just the applause that you would get personally, what's the opposite sign of Aquarius? Leo.
Leo, yeah.
So Aquarius is an energy that says stop so much with the
Validation and attention.
self-aggrandizement, the need for the need for attention, the need to be bougie, the need to be entitled. I mean, if your energy is optimal and your energy is sacred, you walk in the room and it lights up because of the sacred spark, not that you have to get the attention. If there's a different kind, Aquarius talks to us about, and Pluto talks to us about, it's time for all of us to be luminaries. It's time for all of us to be the torch that lights the darkness without being attached to somebody giving us praise for it.
Okay, so if Pluto is coming, so Pluto is in Capricorn, which I could definitely see that before, right? Like, so if it's moving into Aquarius, if we're still in this phase of, I'm going to get that bag, I'm going to build my empire, I need this validation, my stuff, that old Capricorn goat stuff, right? Like, what would it cause as far as weather in our life? What would happen if we refuse to go along with the weather?
Well, the divine weather, there's divine weather. So, you talk about elements in astrology, earth, air, fire, water. Pluto, when it slipped back into Aquarius on November 20th, 19th, and 20th, to stay into Aquarius now for 19 years. Interesting, November 19th, and it's in for 19 years, and we got a 9-year next year. So the 9 it's that detachment. Aquarius is the 11th sign in the zodiac. So the 11 is dream weaving. It's the fixed air, etheric, heavenly, the stars, the atmosphere. And you look at it, when you balance it with Leo, what kind of atmospheric aura am I carrying around with me, and how might I course correct and get the optimal and the best frequencies and energetic signatures? You're talking space, you're talking the aliens, you're talking disclosure, you're talking Bigfoot, you're talking Mothman, you're talking about how much stuff has been held in secret to do with holistic healing, because it's about what will collapse humanity, which is much more prevalent with the Capricorn thing, with the devil card. What can be collapsing to humanity with its greed and its wars and its hunger to seize land and slaughter people. And Aquarius is like, no. Yeah. And Aquarius is like, no. We are all Earth citizens. We all have an aspect on a scale of 1 to 10 that we could course correct our own intentions. And Aquarius is going to call to us to do prayer. You're going to see that there's going to be more of this. You're going to see a return to sacred ceremonies. You're going to see a return to, even if for some people that's leaning back into some kind of traditional spirituality, because whenever Saturn gets ready to leave a sign, it's going to leave Pisces and it's going to go into Aries. Whenever Saturn gets to the end of that 2.5-year to 3-year sign emphasis, which is where it's been, and the nodes are going to shift in January to go into North Node in Pisces, we're going to see people saying, what is it that anchors my soul? What is it that inspires me spiritually? I've got to have something as a heart-soul motivator instead of just another human or just that job, or just the love that I feel for my child or my grandchild, or the enthusiasm that I have with the animal that's in my life. What might I do for animals? What might I do for the benefit of children? What might I do to help geriatric older people? What kind of, even if just a fourth of my life is charitable or volunteer, or I seek to go to that workshop or that class or that outdoor event, we're going to lean back into some type of ceremony. I know that one of the books that's very Aquarian is a book that I just ordered called Star Ancestors by Nancy Redstar. She finally did the book, and it goes right back into the Hopi, the Anasazi, the petroglyphs of all the evidence of the older native peoples, talking about how they accept the star beings and the star ancestor. Of course, they're a part of it. So there never was a doubt in the native people's teachings and ceremonies that we have star ancestors that work with us, and that we go across a river of stars into the great spirit. So we have a footprint in both worlds, and so they accept that. It's not like argued ever.
Sure, yeah.
So we're going to be in touch with the angels. We're going to have much more psychic. It's beyond psychic, really. We're going to have holy encounters. We're going to think that we just got up for the day, we brushed our hair, we're walking off to work, and all of a sudden there's going to be some kind of divine vision or some kind of divine encounter. There's going to be a lot more people that survive what would have been catastrophic water events, or just like if you go back to Hurricane Milton and Hurricane Helene and how that hit Florida and how that hit parts of Tennessee and North Carolina. There are phenomenal humanitarian things going on.
Absolutely.
In those areas. I mean,
I guess my question,
going, you know
though,
what?
Mary, like, just to get back to my question, though, would be like, do you remember when you came on the shows before and you would say, look, and it was like 3 or 4 shows you said this, it is time to start learning lessons without the pain and suffering, right? Like, we don't need to learn lessons that way. Okay. Well, what I'm saying is anytime something this big comes in, this societal change comes in, there is still energies out there, and you and I both know of them, that refuse to accept the change, right? Like, and that's what causes the suffering, in my opinion. I could be wrong about that. I'm curious as to know what you think. Like, if they don't, get along with the weather, like Pluto is like Hades, right? So that can be devastating.
Absolutely.
If you refuse the change. That's what I'm asking you. Like, how can we line up for it and get better prepared for it so that we don't suffer anymore?
Yeah. When I teach about Pluto, I remind people, I can't forget, I forget who the actual person, to give them credit, that made the original quote, that the only constant in life is change.
Right.
Humans are really curious creatures, like dogs and cats and birds. They adapt to change much better than humans do. I think part of the human Earth School lesson is, what is it about you that wants to fight against change or resist change? Because we get into these stagnation patterns, and I think a lot of us are so insecure about, well, wait a minute, this feels really good right now, and I just want to stay right here. I want to stay right here. I don't want anything to change, because right now that drink made me feel good, or that pill made me, start laughing, or that lover, gave me such a feeling of self-worth and that I matter. And so I think sometimes when we find a little pool of something that invigorates us, our vulnerability gets so scared of, like, oh no, why can't this last forever?
Right.
And I think it's us. I think it's us that wants to control it. So you talk about the Lord of the Underworld. I think it's our own psychological underpinnings to want to control it or that or direct it. And I think that we get in the way of spirit. And Aquarius and Pisces, when you get to the 11th and the 12th signs, they're saying it's heaven to earth. As above, so below. So right now, Pluto in Aquarius is saying it's above your head, and the balance to Aquarius, it's higher mind, it's higher learning, it's higher love. But the balance to Pluto in Aquarius is Leo. And Leo is the heart chakra. So if Aquarius would be kind of like the third eye, being able to receive messages and intuitions and alchemy and transmutations and the violet flame and all Reiki and all of these things that can seemingly be invisible, and yet we have incredible evidence of how it heals us and it changes us, and we rise above it, to your point, without the needed avatar of pain to get our attention. Aquarius lets us detach emotionally. Aquarius can let us take those emotions that normally throw us off course and throw us into a spin zone and take it all personal and get on the defensive and accuse this and criticize that. Aquarius is the light switch. It goes, I just want to look at the facts. I just want to look at how I can direct this energy, or that energy wave can be directed toward me and affect change. I'll analyze it later. I just want to be in the moment. So Aquarius is like, be here now. The present is the gift that's right in front of you, and by you blaming someone else or shaming your own self, you're just delaying the magic that's with you always and forever.
Kind of like you go into a bardo. You're delaying it, period.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is,
Right.
in a different sense of the word, to
Be
accept
open
this
to the
energy.
change. Be open.
Be open to it.
To be
Connect
open to
with
the
spirit,
change.
and like get your
Number
heart
one.
lined up. Get your
Number
heart lined up
Number one.
with your truth.
Yeah. But before
Yeah.
there's a person involved, before there's a business benefactor involved, those things can all still be out there as wonderful opportunities, like a spoke on a wheel. When you look at the Wheel of Fortune in the tarot, you look at the opportunities and the shifts. The Wheel of Fate is going to turn. When you look at that card, the number 10th card in the tarot, when you look at the World card, there's the figure that's levitating in space in the laurel wreath, and they have the magic wands, as above, so below in their hand, and the he/she figure with the mystical 3, the violet 3 that's going. 3 is one of the numbers of change. You have 1, which is the yang. You have 2, which is the yin, and then you have 3, which is the creative spark. It's like there's the union of the yin and the yang, and then there is the birth, there is the labor, there is the creation. You created this. Your desire manifested this. So Aquarius, with all this Sagittarius stuff that's going on, let us not forget that Mars is in Leo. I have to talk about that. Mars is in Leo, and around the 6th and 7th, Mars is going to retrograde in Leo, and it's an exceptionally long retrograde that's going to happen. Well, Pluto's in Aquarius. Venus is moving into Aquarius around that time over the 6th and the 7th. So the other light up that happens in our chart, our other astrological assignment to bear witness to and allow the change, is December and January. December of 2024 and January, the classroom of Earth of December 2024 and January of 2025 is we're going to expand the frequencies of your heart. We're going to show you the treasures of your heart. Get out of your ego. Stay true to yourself. It's okay to want what you want. It's okay to create what you want to create. It's okay to be the master of alchemizing your destiny and dream weaving, but know that there are invisible, perhaps silent or unseen forces to other people around you that are ready to assist you and allow that dream to manifest. So it's up to me to regularly now make connection with that which is my spiritual inspiration. If I get lazy and I don't meditate or I don't give thanks for what already is existing, if I don't contact my guardian angels, if I don't study a little bit about the angel, the Shem, the angels, and the seraphim, if I don't invite them into my life, because God gave me free will. So I need to be a little more disciplined into my heavenly connections. That's Aquarius. So you don't get bogged down with the technicalities of astrology, okay? No. Instead, you look at what are my spices that connect me to heavenly manifestations of pleasure, creativity, blessing my fellow man, as well as knowing that I can be blessed in the interim and I can have faith and believe in that. That's the Aquarian principle, is that we didn't come here by accident. We came here to walk with purpose. How are we doing with allowing our purpose to be our focus and our priority? That's the big gift. It's medicine. What's your medicine? What uplifts your heart? Aquarius is star medicine and heavenly connection and your angels and the divine and how you can have, when you pray, don't pray or meditate to get. Aquarius is about shut up, sit down, get comfortable, and listen and receive the answers. When I think of Aquarius, I think of answers.
I love it.
Not questions.
I'm sorry
Answers.
I derailed that. I just,
You didn't derail it. You didn't derail it. You let it bloom.
Venus and Aquarius and both, charts. And I really focus on that energy. I don't know why. I love that energy so much, so.
Oh, I love Aquarius energy. I love Aquarius energy. I really do, because what it does, again, it's the opposite of Leo. It takes that normal 3D third dimension focus on my bills and my pleasures and my friends, and I've got to do this for the family, and I don't like that, and I don't like. It gets us out of the I world, the me, and the I show, capital I. It gets us out of that out of that. Always, the spotlight's on me, the spotlight's on me. It's up to me to do it. They expect me to do it. Then they criticize somebody. And the Aquarius is like, you're going to know me by the smell. You're going to know me by the frequency. You're going to know me by the perfume of my actions. And when I walk in and out of the room, your energy is going to vibrate in a better way because I entered the room because I gave a damn. I didn't come here to get your applause, but if I show up, if I'm doing a podcast, if I'm tithing, if I'm giving my time and my talents to you, it's because you matter, and I know it, and I'll be blessed because of it. So I don't have to just have you make an appointment or you send me a tithe. I chose to make my truth and my frequencies matter a lot because I give a damn about this incarnation. I give a damn about peace, and I want people to have love, and I want to help unlock people and correct them. So if they're drawn to me to be able to be one of the many out there, guidance, soul guidance or star seers or whatever it is, if you're drawn to the frequency of being ready to do the work and not have somebody drag you out for 10 or 12 appointments in a year and say, you ready to bust a move? I'm that girl. I'm that girl to say, you want to get to the point? Let me show you what's blocking you, and then you make a decision because it's up to you. It's up to you. So it's like we cut to the chase with Sagittarius. We cut to the chase with Aquarius. Aquarius is like, cards are on the table, literally. The cards are on the table. The cards don't hold power over you. The stars don't hold power over you. What the stars are saying right now is that the power, you now have an access to the heavenly. How do you connect with your soul guides? Will you do some dream work? Will you look at the cycles and the opportunities that are in front of you with your own star map? Will you, if you own an oracle or a tarot deck, will you stop arguing with it and don't pick 20 cards? Sit down, pray, center yourself, do some breath work, pick one card and say, thank you for the message I'm supposed to have today. Don't do a bunch of cards. Pick one. Pick one. And say, let me just look at that, whether I agree with it or not, and let me see how I can integrate that into my day. Let that be a teacher, whether I agree with it or not, if you're going to play that game. Some people like numbers. Some people like stars. Some people like tarot cards. Some people like therapy. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter. What matters now is that you find out what is the relevant teaching program, what is giving you, yeah, that's good. Whoa, yeah, that's motivating. Yeah, I can take that idea and run with it. So what stimulated your soul? Pluto is saying, let go of what's draining and debilitating you, even if it's your own habits. I mean, Sagittarius is the truth seeker. Sagittarius is the truth teller. So like you said, some people are like, no, I'm more locked into my habits, and that may be your truth. That's not necessarily my truth. Well, okay, let me give you an example of your truth. You said you'd do this on Wednesday. Wednesday came, and you showed up and said, I don't want to. So the truth to me is you don't want to. So you're really not committed. So that's okay. That's your truth. Mahalo, I'm out.
Sometimes there is objective truth, whether people want to see it or not.
Absolutely. That's right.
They just don't. It's not that we're trying to bring shame back. That's another thing too. It's like, don't shame me or whatever. It's not about that, but it is about accountability, like you said before. And look, accountability is happening. Is happening, whether you like it or not. It's happened in politics. It's happening in pop culture, and so we're getting to see it on a big scale. So don't think that us are separate from it. It's going to be happening with us too.
But watch the big Capricornian things, because Pluto's leaving Capricorn. Watch the big Capricornian spectrums in life, like pharmaceutical companies, the doctors having the final say. Watch people, whether he gets in or not, watch people that have a voice that are saying the food industry needs to be cleaned up. Uranus and Taurus, it's been doing its thing for 7 years. It's about to change into Gemini next year. So somebody like RFK Jr. saying, we don't need to all be buying $200 Berkey water filters. We need to clean the water in this country. And everybody, Aquarius, everybody has clean water. We need to clean it up. We need to get the preservatives and the processed chemicals out of our food. We need to stop big pharma telling us when we got to take a pill or a vaccine. We need to stop these people trying to get sovereignty over our God-created breathed life into our earthly temple. We, the people, need to have that sovereignty. We, the people, need to have that choice instead of the governments deciding we're going to war. I don't think there's a person in Ukraine or Russia or Palestine or Israel of the common people, of the people living on those lands as Earth citizens that are saying, gee, I love going to bed with bombs flying over my head because the governments think that they should have this land or whatever. So when you're really for peace, it doesn't matter if it's Israel or Palestine or Syria or Lebanon, or it's like there are people dying and there are people getting in the crossfire of all ages and of both sexes. They're getting in the crossfire somebody else's greedy agenda. And Aquarius is like, you want to see a tower? I will bring you all down with earth changes, and I will bring you all down with anomalies. And I don't think it's not true that there's been spaceships and ultra-terrestrial. Instead of extraterrestrial, I've always called them ultra-terrestrial beings that for years, when you get into UFOlogy, have shut down nuclear plants and been seen around nuclear plants. And I believe this whole disclosure thing, is it just going to be, oh, finally we get the released documents? That's very Aquarian, the whole alien agenda, the whole hybridizing, the cloning, the AI, the Grok, the Chat GPT, all that's Aquarian.
The JFK
all that's
trial.
Aquarian. The the Neuralink stuff, that's all Aquarian. That's all Aquarian. So we're going to see things. And Aquarius is shock and awe. What is the planet that governs Aquarius? Uranus. And Uranus, or Uranus, is the lightning bolts of heaven. So again,
isn't it both Saturn and Uranus? I could be wrong, but it traditional was Saturn.
Was Saturn originally ruled Capricorn and Aquarius. Then we discovered Uranus. Herschel discovered Uranus, and then Mars was the original ruler of Scorpio, and then we had Pluto. And let me tell you about this new moon real quick before we go to the signs of the break.
Okay.
This new moon is conjunct the fixed star Antares. And Antares is one of the royal stars, and it's known as in the heart of the Scorpion. So the Sagittarius arrow is pointing right at the heart of the Scorpion in the natural astronomy of the skies. So if you go back and you start looking up what are the meanings of the fixed star Antares, and so go look at that, because it has a lot to do with, even though we're in Sagittarius, even though Mars, one of the rulers of Scorpio, the ancient ruler of Scorpio, is in the sign of the lion, we're pulling up some of this like, shit's going to change, and it's going to change fast. Aquarius is like when the Bible talks about the quickening, when it talks about in a snap of a finger or in an instant, it changes. I mean, if you talk about shape-shifting, like you're just walking in the woods and all of a sudden you're like, oh, what was that? And there's an orb right in front of you. I mean, there's an orb. I remember one time I was just driving down a street in the North Carolina mountains, and there was a typical little mountain rainstorm, and never in my life, I'd seen plenty of rainbows in Florida, seen plenty of rainbows out west when I was doing Native people ceremonies, and there was this rainbow, and it like went right in the middle of the road, and I'm like, oh my God, for the first time in my life, I'm going to actually drive my car into the spectrum colors of the rainbow. And it was like I wanted to slow down. Luckily, there wasn't a lot of traffic. It was still lightly raining. And I had never in my life driven a car into where the rainbow point was. Like it was off on the mountain, or you could see half of it. Oh, and it was like, wow. Well, I mean, I felt it. I mean, first I felt the anticipation, and I'm like, okay, it's like when you've seen a UAP or an underwater UFO, or you've seen Sasquatch, or you've seen a UFO. I'm telling you, you don't care whether somebody agrees with you or believes you or not. When you've seen it, when you've experienced something in meditation, when you've had a divine healing, when somebody told you you had cancer, you had AIDS, you're healed. When that happens to you, you don't give a rat's ass whether anybody believes it or not, because you lived it. So there's going to be a lot of really fantastic miracles. I see the Aquarian thing as miraculous healings. What used to collapse us, where we felt that we were tethered or were trapped in a job or trapped financially. Aquarius, again, the quickening and the twinkling of an eye, if we just keep our faith fueled and we dive into and plug. If you're going to get attached to anything, plug in to your divine assistant. Call for, I allow divine alignment in harmony, to your point, Joe, about pain. I now allow my life to come into full divine alignment under grace and only with harmony. I accept this, I summon this, and most importantly, I now receive it. That's an Aquarian type of dance.
Right on. Right on. So when we come
you
back,
call it.
Yeah,
call it in. Yeah.
I think I did a reading for a listener the other day, and I the whole spread came out, and everything you just said is kind of the energy I was picking up. I was like, man, you got to get in touch. We all got to get in touch. It's all mirrors anyways, right? So it's like we all got to get in touch with the divine a bit more, like have faith in it bit more.
There's
Just
a one
get in touch
mirror.
in it, you know?
There's one synchronicity, and there's one mirror that matters, and that's your soul. Look inward to your soul health. You will be healthy if you will, like you said, to be resistant to. If you'll just change this, if you'll turn around and be honest with yourself and say, do I have any broken things in my soul? Do I have any fragmented places in my soul? If you will start there with therapy, with meditation, with readings, with color, with nature, if you will say, I've carried that burden, I've carried that wound in my soul long enough, and if I've carried it secretly, and at times I've had shame, and I've blamed or been blamed, if I've carried that this long, why don't I prioritize unburdening myself with that? I've carried it long enough. It's a heavy weight for too long now. I have access to my angels, to my God, to the Creator. I have the ability with Mother Nature and the sky ancestors and the stars and the heavens and the elements of nature. I have the ability to breathe resurrected life into my soul because it was my gift from the beginning. So I'm the magician. I'm the healer. I'm the shapeshifter. I'm the transmutational agent. I'm the magic wand. But I've got to believe that it's time, and the time is right for me to be able to allow that to be, instead of doubting that I can be healed, or I'm not worthy of it, or everybody else that's ever shamed or blamed you and said, oh, you're less than because you don't have money, or you were sexually abused, or you were a whore for a while, or you were an addict for a while. To thine own self be true. Be your doctor. Be your magician. Turn around to yourself and say, it's time for me to allow the angels to take control, and I am one with that. What are you pledging allegiance to? Aquarius is asking us, what is your truth? And maybe it's time for you to upgrade your beliefs and let go of some beliefs that held you down.
All right. And when we come back from the top of the hour, we got to pay the station bills here. When we come back from the top of the hour, Mary's going to go through the signs, and then she'll be giving out some free readings on the air. Don't forget to get ready to call in after the signs. We'll be right back.
Since we've been away from home, all the lights, every last one gone. Let's believe that when this shit gone, it's been so long since we've been away from home. All the lights, every last one gone. Let's believe that when this shit gone. What's the reason why we should do this tonight? Spend the night, spend the night, spend the night, spend the night. So much you won't see without open eyes. Close eyes, close sight, close mind, close mind.
This is Malorcas 45, fan of the Fridge FM, challenging everyone to open their mind's eye. Listen to Lighting the Void with Joe Roop to gain precision for your third eye vision.
Right now, our country feels divided, but there's a place where people are coming together.
I gotta tell you, I was nervous to talk to someone so different than me.
Me too, but I'm glad we are.
Love Has No Labels and One Small Step are helping people with different political views, beliefs, and life experiences come together through conversation, and it feels good.
Wow, your story is so...
Interesting?
Yeah.
When people actually sit down, talk, and listen to one another, they can break down boundaries and connect as human beings. At lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep, you can listen to amazing, life-changing conversations and find simple tools to start a conversation of your own.
I know one thing. This conversation gives me hope.
It gives me a lot of hope, too.
Take a step toward bringing our country and your community together by having the courage to start a conversation at lovehasnolabels.com/onesmallstep. A message from StoryCorps, Love Has No Labels, and the Ad Council.
People do some pretty cool things in their 40s and 50s. Why should saving for retirement be any different? I mean, they go back to college, learn new instruments, start skateboarding.
Whoa!
Okay, maybe that one's not for everybody, but saving for retirement is. With aceyourretirement.org, you can get on track with your retirement savings no matter your age. Just have a 3-minute chat with Avo, the friendly digital retirement coach from AARP. You'll get personalized recommendations based on your input that are easy to understand and work with your lifestyle. It's quick, easy, and free. Plus, it's sponsored by AARP, so you know they got your back.
Gnarly move, Dad.
Thanks, sweetie.
So wherever you are in your retirement savings journey, head to aceyourretirement.org and start chatting with Avo today. That's aceyourretirement.org. A message from AARP and the Ad Council.
Are you intrigued by Paranormal Talk Radio? You'll love the new Paranormal Radio app from TalkStream Live. You'll find a great selection of talk shows covering UFOs, ghosts, strange phenomena, and much more. Download the Paranormal Radio app now and start listening to the very best in paranormal talk entertainment, including the network you're listening to right now. The Paranormal Radio app, free in Google Play and the iOS App Store.
So, you love talk radio? Then you'll love TalkStreamLive.com. TalkStream Live is always on, 24/7 with the best streaming talk shows. Find your favorite talkers and discover some new ones. It's free, readily available online or on mobile with any smartphone or tablet. Finding your favorite talk shows all in one place has gotten a whole lot easier. Just go to TalkStreamLive.com. Be sure to download the free apps from Google Play or the iTunes App Store.
Hey, this is No Way Jose, a Northern California Piscean stuck in the Arizona desert. I'm a void walker, and I got the shoes to prove it. So what do I do when my soul yearns to delve deep into the realm of the unknown? I aim my satellite straight into the night sky and catch a smooth ride on the KTLK-DB radio waves. I tune into Lighting the Void with Joe Root on the Fringe FM.
Joe, Lighting the Void is the best show on the planet. This is Barney, your friend from Facebook. Thank you and all the crew for all you do. Namaste, my friend.
This is Macon from the foothills of North Carolina, and I am a void walker.
G'day, void walkers. This is Lily from down under Australia. The world may be small, the enigma is greater. So let your curiosity take you for a journey with Joe Root.
Hey, this is Fee, coming in from Central Maryland, and I am a void walker.
This is Kevin Doherty, a beginner void walker. I'm from Vancouver, BC. I know a little about a lot, and as Leonard Skinner said, I'll guess the rest. I learned a lot from Mr. Root on the show, and heard it from the beginning. I knew right then he was going to be a new Art Bell. Thanks for all your shows, and keep it up.
Hey, this is Derek from Mass, aka the Night Stalker, and I'm a void walker.
This is Mark from Chicago, and I walk the void to ascertain what is consciousness.
My name is Jared Johnson, and I'm from Humboldt County, California. I do not know all the answers to the questions about reality. I do not claim to know the ultimate truth about life. I seek that which has been made hidden as a part of a family of explorers of consciousness. I'm a void walker. Thanks, Joe Root.
From Forest Tower Studios, all the way from the Deep South. Now, here is your host, Joe Root.
I wouldn't make it a habit calling me that, son.
All right, welcome back to Cosmic Conditions here tonight. Once every new moon, we bring on Mary Dusina on Lighting the Void. We've been doing this for years now. Pretty much a part of the program. It's usually 1/4 or 1/5 of the program every single month. So if you haven't got a reading from Mary Dusina, I don't know what you're waiting on. Make sure you do it. It's life changing. Even if you're let's just say you're a skeptic of astrology, or you're a skeptic of psychic energy. Great. I'm glad you're a skeptic. I was too. I was a super skeptic. And at the time, when Mary came into my life, I'd had a few psychics on the show. And once Mary came into the broadcast, she convinced me. And it's still to this day when I talk to other psychics, they don't convince me. It takes... I can think of maybe one other person that has, maybe. So what I'm telling you is it's legit. It's the real deal, right? So I understand why, and I've realized, too, that some people just don't get readings from her because they're afraid of what she's going to say. But Mary knows how to give a message. She's the best at delivering the message for you. And now she's going to go through the signs. And look, I always appreciate you coming on the broadcast, Mary, even after all these years.
Thank
It's
you,
great.
Joe. Thank you, Joe. Thank you, Joe. Well, when you do broadcast work, and I've done broadcast work since the late 70s, so when you do broadcast work, you're showing up, you're doing the study, you're bringing the reports, you're taking the skepticism. Whether you're doing radio stuff, live TV stuff, or podcast stuff, you're showing up and you're going to take some heat. When you get into the media, you're going to take some heat. Nowadays they call it trolls, but it can be competition. It can be people that want to take your information and make it look like their own. But you know what? As long as the truth gets told, as long as somebody's heart can be reinvigorated, as long as we can divorce deleterious energy, as long as we can learn to walk powerfully, strongly on the path of light, we win. We win. So I honor every person that inspired me in my life, even the ones that were a part of a pain challenge or a loss of some kind or something that just seemed like it was like, where the hell did that come from and how'd that get cut loose? I mean, I honor all of that because when you look back, like we talked about Mercury retrograde, Mars will go retrograde in the sign of the heart of Leo. It will go retrograde on December 7th, and it's going to bounce back into the sign of Cancer. So we've got this bounce of our energy. Mars is our desire and our vital life force energy, and the two signs that are in the spotlight of that are Leo and Cancer. And then they're opposites. Oh, there we go again with an opposition with Aquarius and Capricorn. So we're supposed to tune into our heart. That's the best part of Mars. Only goes retrograde once every 26 months. So this is a big deal. So if you want to learn how to redirect your energy and manifest more prosperity and love and work and creativity and just general harmony, focus on the Leo side of your chart. Focus on that. Find the Leo house, correct that, course correct the ego, course correct have a generous spirit. Sagittarius is the half man, half horse. It's horsepower. It's got to do with how can we get ourselves more liberated psychologically, mentally. How can we let the soul be the captain of our behavior and our actions? That's the way to do it. So happy birthday, Sagittarius.
Can I say something real
Aries,
quick? I want to say something too. I forgot to do this. So Michael Domek, who is a supporter of the show, his friend, one of his really good friends, just passed away, and he's asked us all to pray for him and his family too. So make sure you guys do that. Send them some positive healing vibes, please. Right.
Beloved Holy Spirit, beloved Creator, soft moments, revelatory comforts on all that are involved with Michael Domek's recent transitional experience of someone that he has great fondness for. We pray, we join as a tribe and a group for the uplifting radiation of the heart and the ability to receive confirmation in a spiritual way, in a holy way, that all is well with the soul. Amen. Thank you, Joe. That's nice that you do that. It's nice for us to be able as a family to come together and feast, sit at the table of all that matters. We talked about priorities and to prioritize the life that matters, the life force that matters, and the footprints maybe in heaven may not be as evident on earth, but their spirit is still very viable. And their spirit, if they went through suffering or a sudden exit, is able to bless us and we can bless them. So yes, they're not to be forgotten or discarded. So Aries, the energy of the Sagittarius new moon, remember we got two of them this month. So right now we're dancing with Sagittarius fire energy. Aries is a fire sign, so it's a ninth house stimulus. New moons are a stimulus. It's like you get a stimulating, good karmic check. Here's some good karma, if you'll pay attention to these themes in your life. So the ninth house has a lot to do with, suddenly I'm really intrigued by new horizons and some kind of travel and journeys in general, whether it's a journey in my mind, something that stimulates my mind. I physically travel somewhere. I feel like that my soul shifted into a new dimension of understanding. So that not all journeys are physical. But in the ninth house, which is higher truth and higher love, and how we connect with higher justice and the balancing of the scales of Libra, when we get into the ninth house, which is the house of Sagittarius, because Sagittarius is the ninth sign, there's more of a Jupiter effect. There's an expansion to do with how the vision expands. And so for Aries, I would say it's a great time for you to focus and not let your emotions or emotional reactions distract you. So it's a celebration cycle. I mean, Mars in Leo certainly is a good thing overall for Aries people and Sagittarius people too. So there's some fascinating options and choices. I do see optimism. I do see new connections, new experiences, and I believe if you'll trust your instincts, the ninth house, our instincts, our emotional intelligence, not just our emotions and our moods and our reactions or our defenses, but our emotional intelligence, our intuition and our instincts, if you'll prioritize those this month, Aries, then you're going to gain clarity and you're going to wrap up this year with fascinating opportunities and breakthroughs. If you're a Taurus, it's the eighth house that's being stimulated for you, and that's the natural house of Scorpio. So the eighth house has to do with the reason behind the obvious. So it's afterlife, it's psychic experience. It's like, for Taurus people, it can be like there's some kind of, the old must die, the new is born. It's like, it's that whole resurrection. There's a death of a job, there's a death of a dream sometimes, and then there, because that door closed, now you're almost force-fed to go through the new option, the new possibility. The job downsized. It wasn't your fault. It wasn't your manager's fault. The truck just stopped. You can't be a truck driver because the truck stopped. It's got to have repairs. So yeah, there was a death of you going forward with that particular schedule and that money, but maybe it saved your life because the truck did get repaired. It's like God did stop it in order for you not to have an even bigger destructive type of event. So if you're a Taurus, this is a really good cycle, not just because it's the holidays, but for Taurus, they need creature comforts and they need the security of home base, very similar to the sign of Cancer. So with Taurus, what normally can frustrate other people, I got to decorate, I got to put the lights up, am I going to do a tree, what's going to happen, how much is that going to cost? I don't want to wait in lines at the store. For a Taurus, that wreath that they've had for years, that ornament that brings back a heartfelt memory of, again, maybe some people that aren't on Earth necessarily anymore, that uplifts a Taurus aura, the Taurus aura, the familiarity, the remembrance, the memories, even if the people are still alive, but they go back. When something hits your eighth house, you automatically start feeling the richness and the treasures of those people that have touched your life, those animals that have touched your life. It's like the memories come rolling back, not just because it's the end of the year, what left our life, what animals came in, what animals came out, what people we aren't around as much. There's the death of friendship sometimes. People move on. There's, the intimacy served its purpose, and so you're not with that particular love interest anymore. And so the agenda didn't match. The intentions went askew, went astray. So with Taurus, they're creating a nurturing space. It's like a cocoon type of a thing. And so by them actually making the efforts to create soft moments and to create security, spending more time at home. I mean, you pay a mortgage on it, you pay the rent anyway. So Taurus right now is like, okay, I pay for this car, I pay for this house, I bought this furniture, these are my things, that is my computer. Maybe I do want to stay home and watch the movie. Maybe I do want to binge. Maybe I do just want to sit down and play some video games of something that I bought that I've ignored.
Video games, right.
So it has a lot to do with with, but also the 8th house, because it is to do with Scorpio stuff. It's also about shadow work, and it's also about really taking a deeper look at which habits. Taurus gets into habits, buddy. They blow their nose the same way. They're picky about their food. You know, they have these rituals of these habits they get into, again, because to them, things that they can count on represent security. Not so for an Aries or a Sagittarius. Something new opens them up and makes them feel secure because they're not bored anymore. So for Taurus right now, I'd like to see you update your behaviors, kind of look at the habits that you've got so entrenched and so ingrained, and maybe you could stop doing that little annoying thing that other people have said, why do you do that? And it's not just one person picking on you. You know yourself that you get OCD, or you know yourself that you can't pull a damn parking place without having to back it up 2 or 3 times because it's got to be right there in those lines, you know. So Taurus's fight with that habitual OCD type of a thing. So it's like when we prioritize really minor things, too much. Sometimes we eclipse the bigger message that Spirit's wanting to give us because we're too focused on the unimportant things in this world that aren't going to matter. It's not going to matter in your afterlife. It's not going to matter as you close out your days how many times you park the car correctly. Really? So kind of shift, level up a little bit with what matters in your life. Why does it matter to you, Taurus? And maybe it's time to upgrade that. Maybe it's time to do a little shadow work on that. And you don't just have to do it the same way your mommy did it and your daddy did it. Find out who you are and lean more into your unique attributes and your unique signature of your personality. If you're a Gemini, Jupiter's in Gemini. You've got some Sagittarius stuff bouncing in your 7th house in the west part of the medicine wheel. So for you, Gemini, the retrograde of Mercury is saying to you, you need to embrace what your curiosity is wanting you to lean into. You need to explore some new options and ideas, add some fresh energy to your routine, add some fresh energy to your most significant relationships. There may be moments that you're getting so busy with, there's always holiday demands in this country with that, whether it's Hanukkah, Christmas, Kwanzaa, but it's time for you to, this is your time of the year, Gemini, to really stop, look, and listen to the priority relationships in your life. The East, our ascendant, is the sunrise. When we go into the 7th house, it's the West, it's the descendant, and it's got to do with the other people that hold a priority position in our life. It might be a parent, might be a child, might be a best friend, might be a running buddy, might be a business connection, but the 7th house, when the sun and planets close to the sun, Venus and Mercury, are in your opposite sign, that's your cycle in the year to look at the people around you and prioritize them and focus on them more than just your own self. For you, Gemini, you get that in late May and June. That's your cycle, to focus on yourself. But there might be some face-offs. There might be some it's a cycle where you might need to go ahead and reduce some challenges, things that need to be dealt with, that, no more avoiding, no more enabling. There's some sensual perspectives that are coming up. Your partner might just need to hug you. Your partner might just need to, don't bitch at them because they fall asleep and they're not watching the movie that you both said that you would watch. Just make it okay that they feel safe enough that you can just rub their neck and they can fall asleep and they're in the same couch or the same bed with you. You're together. Don't bitch at them because they're not watching them. You said you were going to watch this movie with me. Now you're falling asleep. No. Yeah, how is that leveling up anything? So lean into whatever your partner's needs are right now and kind of look at that more. Think about your SOs. That's what I abbreviate. Look at your significant others in your life and be willing to also look within. Do you still choose them as a significant other in your life? Have you got that settled? Have you got that managed? Are you okay with that? What can you do to uplift their connection with you? Or is it time to part? Is it time to take a space? Is it time to really sit and have that face-to-face, heart-to-heart conversation about, I love you, however, we need to talk about this. I love you, but I feel like this is putting a bridge between us. Yeah, this is that cycle. And Mercury retrograde could help you with that. It could help you confront what you've been putting off, admitting to yourself or disclosing to them. if you're a Cancer, there's some exciting financial opportunities that are right on the horizon, Cancer Moonchild, to stay grounded as they unfold. The whole Pluto and Aquarius thing happening in your 8th house could, like, boom, you win a lottery, the scratch-off ticket paid off. There's a career or a financial benefactor that says, you know what, I see you. I see you. Yep, you've struggled, but you've got raw, real talent, and I want to be able to back that. I want to be able to be a part of your journey and your rise up to do this thing that you want to do. I can see that you're helping people. I can see that you're a good nurse. I can see that you're on your way to be a good veterinarian or a good ambulance driver. I can see that. It's those people in our life that come in and say, I've got some resources right now. I've got some connections. I can help you make that happen. So because it's the 6th house, it has a lot to do, Cancer Moonchild, with your daily energy, your daily routines. There's new clarity. You know, get your mind in shape. Get your belief in yourself, you know, kind of dust that off a little bit, because I believe it's a very grounded, real type of thing. Now, the surprise part of Pluto and Aquarius and Venus in Aquarius could be, holy crap, I did win the lottery. I did have something come out of the blue. I did have a foreign currency revalue. There's going to be all kinds of financial news that comes as we come in before the end of January. It's going to be different countries doing different things with currencies, and not just crypto. It could actually be currencies that were supposed to revalue a long time ago, and boom, pop goes the weasel. So there's some interesting things going on in the financial world out there, and Cancers could be some of the first recipients of that good news. If you're a Leo, this is a dynamic cycle, period. Mars is in Leo. It's going to bounce back into Cancer early next year, and then it's going to back up into Cancer. It's going to go forward again into Leo, I think, on into like the mid part of February. So there's a lot of energy that's taking place for Leos. You're in the spotlight. Leo's not immune to the spotlight, but Leo doesn't like a flashlight or a spotlight following them around when they need private time. So for you, it's the 5th house. So it's invigorating your talents. It's reminding yourself to allow more fun, be more creative, invite humor, invite comedy, allow instead of something stressing you out, just, you know, make light of it, so to speak. Just like, okay, so I had a lot of things that I had to get done today, and you know what? Now it's time for me. I'm going to pour that glass of wine. I'm going to watch that movie, and I'm going to just say, okay, world, bye-bye. I've participated in you enough today. So you need to allow assistance. You need to ask for help if you need it, and you need to, because Leo can inspire or craves that which will inspire them and take them away from their very intense emotions and personalities. I'll tell you this, Leo, no matter what your age is, if you're being bougie, if you're being too extra, if you're thinking you're being so clever and you're really out to use people, you're about to get your ass kicked big time. This is not the time to take advantage of people. This is not the time to smile and flirt and be coquettish and know that you're out to use somebody just because of their resources or their assets, because you're the one that's going to be falling flat on your ass if you do that. You got to level up, and you got to you really let your integrity show and not your self-entitled greed bullshit, because when Mars is in your sign and you take that into the shadow side, yeah, you can end up in jail, you can end up, you know, deported, you can end up, you know, a friends and a lover kicking your ass to the curb. So don't think you're going to get away with it, because you're not. Leos, you have got to play it on the absolute honest, up and up scale right now, or it's going to be Humpty Dumpty's going to fall off the wall.
You'd be surprised in the realms of spirituality how much that's a thing, too. People still doing that crap.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, I know. Oh, I know. You know, they want to backpedal even when they get something wrong. It's just like, I didn't really say that. That's what you heard, but that's not what I really said. Yeah, okay. Yeah, I don't pay attention to words. I look at actions. So for Virgo, you've got an energy of the 4th house and all the mutable signs right now. You know, Pisces people have been, Virgo's opposite sign, Pisces people have been dealing with health issues. They've been wanting to get a course correction to do with their physical wellness and their internal struggles. You know, what makes them reach for the substance abuse? What makes them so sad inside, even though they put on the tears and the smile of a clown type of a thing? So the Virgo-Pisces axis is about to be activated in January of 2025 with the dragon's head and the dragon's tail, the the North Node and the South Node shifting from Aries Libra from the last 19 months into Pisces Virgo. So all of us, our karmic lessons, the new Earth School soul karmic lessons are going to be the Pisces Virgos part of our chart, especially. And we'll talk more about that on December 30th. But the Pisces area of our charts, our new graduation program, all of us, whatever house that is, whatever planets you have in Pisces or Virgo, they're going to be in the spotlight big time starting in 2025. So for Virgo, you need to reflect. You need to recharge. I've got a lot of Virgo clients saying, I don't know why I'm so tired. I'm just so tired. And usually with Virgo, they wear themselves out trying to overanalyze it or trying to get a plan or trying to figure out what the other person's motivations or hesitations are. And they try to, they feel better when they've got something in order psychologically or mentally. So you're reflecting. You got to recharge as you reflect. You've got to be good to yourself while you're doing this massive analysis as you release lingering stresses, and you've got to refocus. Mercury retrograde is refocusing, and it's in Virgo's 12th house. So issues of the past, people of the past, I would say to Virgo, just because your ex sends you a text, but they're still showing up with the same type of cray-cray energy or the need to let things be dumped on you. The reason you broke up in the first place is probably still an evident bad medicine for you. So just because in Mercury retrograde you get a text from your ex doesn't mean that it's next. It's just, be a little bit wary of that because they may be missing how you enhanced their life and you helped their problems, but they would be bringing the same kind of craziness into you. If you're Libra, oh God, Libra, you're going to be so busy. It's your third house, so there's going to be a lot of demands on your time. Connection is key this month, so bringing meaningful moments with creative people, with loved ones. Prioritize the people that have had your back, the people that have stood the test of time, as well as the new people that are, putting their actions right there for you, saying, I'm not just promising you this, here it is. And be willing, Libra, to say to them, okay, so I don't want to have any guilt, and I don't want to make any assumptions, so if you invest this time, or you invest this money, or you back me for this, what is it that you would like to see out of this? So tell me where you're coming from. People invest because they have a certain type of reason, too, to invest their time for a reading, to invest, what are your expectations? And those rare investors that we find that say, I just want to partake of your intelligence or your wisdom, or I really get a lot out of your creative way that you do what you do. You're worth it. I just want to invest in you and have something of your skill sets because, damn, you're good at what you do.
And yes, that's a thing too. I've had people tell me, Mary, no one says that. No one will. That's not real. I'm here to tell you, it's absolutely real.
It's
absolutely real.
No, it's real.
Yeah.
I've not only done it for people, but I've received it.
Me too.
From people, and I really believe those are our earth angels, and I do prioritize and respect those people because they didn't put demands on me. They were happy with what I give and how I do it, and those people get my priority attention because they're not game players, and they're not Machiavellian with their agenda. They're not going into it, wanting to try to watch you get derailed or sideways because they're really competing with you or envious of you. Yeah, no, there's real earth angels out there, and I am privileged to be one when I can, and I'm privileged to receive the attention of them when they come in. And I love that seesaw. I love the way that comes and goes. And
all of you, I think, would be surprised if you followed your passions and creativity, how someone would come along into your life. Even if you ever get to stop beating yourself up or thinking, oh, I don't know, and just stop worrying about what people think and just follow your passions and creativity, especially this Aquarius energy coming in. And you'd be surprised how many people are going to love it. Some people might not, but your people will love it.
That's right. Your tribe of light. Mars in Leo rewards those. Leo rules the sun. And the sun is the great star of our galaxy that we're currently spending some life energy with. So when Mars goes into Leo, And Leo is compatible with the Mars energy of Aries. We got all this Sagittarian stuff. There's big rewards that happen when you're moving from the heart, Leo, and you're moving from clear intentions and divine purpose. You can have big wins with Mars and Leo, not if you're selfish, not if you have a convoluted agenda. So like for Scorpio, Leo's the top of your chart. So you've got Mars, the lion, up at the 10th house in the top of your chart, and it's like goal realization cycles with Scorpios. And also you Scorpios that have been going in a negative direction or down a dark road, Mars and Leo's going to throw light on that, and there may be some comeuppance. There may be some life enforcers that say, yeah, no, you're not going to do it that way anymore. That's wrong. That's hurting people. You want to hurt yourself, that's one thing, but no, we're going to stop you from hurting or dealing those shadow things to other people. So if you're doing nefarious things, Scorpio, if you think you're getting away with dealing meth or abusing your prescription or, dating several people and getting this one pregnant and this over here and not caring and having a cavalier attitude, yeah, that's not going to work. That's not going to work. Because Mars and Leo will say to you, there's a right way and there's a wrong way. So with Scorpio right now, the Sagittarius energy aids you and assists you financially. It's a second house cycle with the sun. Sagittarius is the sign after Scorpio. Mars being in Leo can give you the big wins, but it's all got to do with your own confidence, your own ability to match soul versus personality, spirit versus committed action. But I feel like this cycle right now, you've got some achievements that are right there in the palm of your hand. So be prepared to step forward with those shining skills and take the well-deserved recognition because it's a power cycle for your Scorpio. Sagittarius, of course, it's your birthday cycle. You late November and first
Happy
part
birthday.
of December birthdays. So it's absolutely to
Happy
our
birthday, Night
wonderful...
Stalker, by the way, who's a Sag.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
So
Happy
for
birthday,
Sagittarius, there's a new year opening. It's your solar return, so adventure awaits you. The Mars in Leo is very favorable to Sagittarius, so it's what you want to explore now, and how you want to kind of piggyback that into some upper levels and echelon experiences. So explore what brings you joy and what fuels your spirit. Explore what brings you harmony, joy, and happiness, and what's fueling your spirit. Sagittarians are led by the spirit, the essence, the truth, how the truth, just keeps cascading into wonder. And so Sagittarius is about, if I explore this, then that ultimately will bless my tribe. If I can be the one to go out there and be the brave heart, then I can bring back the message to other people and help uplift them. So it's your first house, it's your solar return, it's your solar birthday, and it's time for you to take care of you. Just like I was telling Gemini, your opposite sign, it's time for them to look at their partners. This is your me, myself, and I cycle, Sagittarius. So it's okay for you to take the next 3.5 weeks and pay attention to what you'd like to upgrade, what you'd like to divorce, what you'd like to accelerate into. This is a good time to put an extra log on the fire and say, you know what? I'm interested in investing my energy into that right now. I'm going to explore that, and I'm going to dive a little bit deeper into that truth teaching because I want to see the wonders that will open up with my commitment of my energy, my attention, and my time. Because our time on this earth walk is limited. It's time for all of us with Pluto and Aquarius to realize what matters the most with the time that I get to share here, because once you've gotten to about 20 or 30 years old, there's a good chance that you've seen people leave the earth a little earlier than what you thought they would. So we've all known people that seem to have gone far too young or left the planet far too quickly. And I think that their life should matter enough that we look at their loss, their leaving the earth quickly needs to be a medicine that helps me realize how time goes by very quickly. Things can take from us or give to us in a sudden wind. And I need to respect the winds of change.
Your number could be up at any point in time, too. So
absolutely,
live in the moment.
Absolutely. So make Make this day matter. Make this night's message percolate into your soul. If you're Capricorn, this is the 12th house cycle, the Saggy stuff, the Mercury retrograde in Sagittarius. This is your 12th house. It's embryonic. It's the labor before the birth. It's the deep, deep levels of your psyche. It has a lot to do with past lives. It has a lot to do with the resonating temperature of repeating patterns, behavioral modalities. Why do you choose the behaviors you do? Why do you get angry the way you do? Why do you get sensual the style that you do? What is your mental process of going into or breaking up with different things? This is a self-examination cycle when we go through the 12th house. It's not an action cycle. It's not your time to be center stage, Capricorn, but man, are you psychic. And can you get such inspirational, insightful things from how you approach spirit and how God talks to you and how you talk to God. So of all the 12 signs, even though we're all in a cycle to listen to what spirit wants to tell us, of all the 12 signs, Capricorn, your sign is the one that's going to get the big answers, and your sign is the one that's probably going to be the most ready to shut up and not ask for anything and receive and realize the bounty and the cornucopia and the incredible blessing way of allowing spirit to tell you what's best for you, what's your next course of action, what doors need to close, what doors need to open, and both of those require faith. So you're setting intentions for the year ahead. So it's reflection on your past, it's reflection on this past year, and you need to recharge your own battery physically and soul-wise. If you're Aquarius, it's 11th house. This is new connections, fresh ideas, burgeoning inspirations, innovative, taking a dance with chance, and I'm dancing with chance. I'm open to change. Some of the changes with Pluto and Aquarius can be incredibly shocking. A family member suddenly transitions, and you're left with dealing with the estate, and although there are financial benefits, there's the cutting through of the red tape, and then the responsibility of what to do with that inheritance that you got. So there's a lot of micromanagement that's spinning around Aquarius right now. The 11th house is dream weaving. It's the natural place for Aquarius to have nice dancing. I mean, Pluto's in your sign. Your whole life changes as you come into the midpoint.
It's crazy you say that. I know four people that's happening to right now.
Yeah,
right now.
It's absolutely. I mean,
it's like the most stressful thing to them too. And you know something else too. When someone comes into an inheritance, like if someone passes away or something, you also get to see like the dark side of people too, man. Just the how people can turn into. And I'm talking about people that are always the smiling, happy, nice angel, and then they turn into a vulture when someone dies, and there's a lot of money to be left. You know, it's crazy, man.
And that they wear a mask. They wear a mask because they were playing all along, thinking, "Well, I'm the only grandchild, or I'm next in line for that inheritance, or I've always been mom or dad's favorite, and so they're going to make me the executor of the will." Let me tell you, I have a whole bunch of clients and a whole bunch of family members over the last 3 decades that when they were made the priority executor and there were other siblings and grandkids or whatever, what a shit show that is, that at least the person trusted you to be the executor. But they'll sue you, they'll fight with you, they'll steal stuff out of the safe, it's damaged car. It's crazy how these people turn into these, like, literally vultures. Actually, vultures clean up the dead along the roadways. So, maybe turkey vultures are better off in the way people change when it comes into that whole greed erection that people can get. It's just bizarre. They turn into monsters. They turn into earthly material monsters.
What's your advice again for
if you're
Aquarius?
Aquarians, it's got to do with, of all the signs, when Pluto's going into your sign, it's a new generation coming in. It's like 19 to 20 years of Pluto spending in your sign. So everything that you put off doing is going to be roaring into your life. And the people that don't accept your uniqueness, the family members that can't accept that you're going to go a different way or a different course. I mean, Aquarians are the ones that could announce to their families, "I'm going to travel to Spain Oh, how nice, you're taking a trip. The Aquarius comes back from Spain and says, no, I'm going to move to Spain. How could you do that? Your family is, I'm going to move to Spain. You want to visit me? Great. I'll come visit you, but it's my life, and I'm going to move to Spain. So Aquarians are going to be giving those shock and awe announcements. It might be they grew up Catholic, and all of a sudden they say, I'm going to marry somebody Jewish, or I'm going to marry somebody, if it's atheist. No, how could you do that? Well, you know what? Because the family is family, and I respect that, but you're not my king or queen. You're not. You live your life, I'm going to live mine. So there could be some kind of earthquakes, emotional earthquakes brought on by the Aquarian liberation, or the Aquarian liberates the whole family by saying, you do you, I'm doing me. If you really love me, you're okay with me doing me.
I just talked to somebody yesterday that's moving. I would have never thought that they're moving to the country that they're moving to, but they are, and they're in Aquarius too, actually.
No, a lot of that's coming. Aquarians will be laughing all the way to the shock factory because it's like, here's a laser. I'm making some laser decisions. If you're Pisces, last and not least, this Sagittarian stuff, Pisces, is bouncing around. The Leo stuff is kind of like forcing you out of your little womb cocoon. But the Sagittarian stuff's hitting the top of your chart, Pisces. The Gemini stuff is stimulating your home base. A lot of Pisces that I've dealt with over the last 3 months, they've finally gotten really serious about a course correction. They're wanting to get off an addiction. They had the necessary surgery they'd been waiting on for 2 to 3 years. They finally got clearance to do it. The insurance paid it. I know a lot of Pisces that lost a lot with these hurricane events and these HARP-controlled weather weapons. A lot of the Pisces had to go through the shock of losing everything due to Piscean mountain water and floods and things like that. Florida is a Pisces state, and the people that I know in the Siesta Key area, the Sarasota area, that have lived there all their life, and their parents said they've never seen anything like what happened with the way that storm hit and how it hovered and all that. That these are people that are used to hurricanes, okay? Like 4 generations of hurricanes going, yeah, that wasn't normal. So when I know people that are born in Florida and lived in Florida, and they tell me about everything that they've experienced from their grandparents and their parents and them going, yeah, that was no normal hurricane. Yeah, Mother Earth can do some shock burps and have gases and typhoons and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, Mother Earth can do what she wants to do. But then there's also artificial manipulation and intelligence that goes on to be testing too. And I don't care whether you believe in it or not. Some of us had people that worked at NASA, and some of us know about geoengineering, and we know chemicals that are put up there and what it can do to drive stuff. And there's papers you can find online that date all the way back to the 40s and the 60s with weather manipulation. So I know a lot of Pisces that had a shock of losing things of a material nature. And I will tell you, Pisces, your creativity is now flowing. Saturn and Neptune are going to get out of your sign and bounce into Aries, which will help you financially and help you rebuild and restructure and have better. I'll tell you this. The energy of December, for a lot of us, that peace between the 8th and going into the full moon of the 15th of December is going to be a lot of the shock and awe and revelations that all the signs get from this Pluto in Aquarius and this Venus in Aquarius. So that when I look at the month of December, yeah, we got holidays, but really pay attention to what shows up, what leaves, what's inviting you. What's the meat and potatoes of December? Yeah, the 8th into the 15th of December. That's the big enchilada. And then again, when we come back on December 30th. So Pisces, your creativity has got a nice flow go. You're going to be able to really see productive results as you dive into the projects that will give you that sense of fulfillment. You don't have to be afraid of that. Pisces will be branching out by February, March, April of next year. Pisces are going to be the explorers. They're going to be boots on the ground, and they're going to bust a move as they get into spring of 2025, and they're going to try things and experience things and allow things to touch their lives that they didn't think that they would do or they've not done for 12 to 15 years. So it's a liberation cycle for Pisces, but Pisces can be kind of shy. They're bold when they're high, but they're shy when they're straight. So there's a part of them that kind of is reticent or pulls back, but I think the fishes are going to turn in the same direction and go swimming into some depths and some mysteries and be grateful for the mysteries that come. So for Pisces, that Sagittarian temperance card in the tarot, like really having that balance with Archangel Michael there, I think that's really going to be a part of what's going. And as I finish that sign, let me remind you all that the upper side of Aquarius is the 17th card in the tarot, which is the star. So the Magi, the three wise men, were following the stars and led to a revelation and, of course, change. And so there's the stars in our eyes, there's the stars in our hearts, there's our soul star, and there's angelic stars and frequencies that are going to be wanting to dine with us and be with us, and we just need to get out of our own way and allow it to happen. So it's not, this celestial season isn't just about exploring distant truths or distant lands, but it's about unlocking the mysteries of your own heart, your own mind, and chasing the horizon of possibility within your curiosity as your compass, your soul's leaning, your soul's curiosity. So this Sagittarius season is inviting all of us to both step into the unknown, not just in a search of external treasures, but to find a new, more authentic sense of our soul self. That, as I said, the archer's arrow of Sagittarius is now pointing inward. We're the bullseye. We're the intended target. So it's guiding us to redefine who we are, what we stand for, and where we're headed. That's the magic of the Sagittarius-Aquarius blend and the Mars and Leo. The past just might feel like a distant memory as we all set our course and set our sights on a future filled with potential and promise, because it's there.
Right
it's
on.
Real.
All right. So thank you for that, Mary. And keep in mind that Mary is specifically talking about your sun signs, which your sun signs are heavy energy. But, you know, when she goes through all these signs, I pull out my chart. I do during every broadcast when she does this, and I pull out my chart and I look at where each one is, right? Like at what house, the planets, and how it's affecting, you know, everything too. And it's usually spot on, especially what you said about Aquarius was massively spot on with like at least 4 or 5 people that I know of, you know.
Well, and that's our main spice. If you look at cosmic spices, it's a big damn deal that Pluto is finally not just going in, backing up like it went in for a little while in spring of this year. It's in Aquarius now. So the Aquarius part of our chart is the long haul. That's the new vision quest. It's everything to do with the Aquarius house. You know, whether you have an Aquarius moon or Aquarius rising, you still look at where the house is based on your time and your location. So if you have planets in Aquarius, yeah, that's a bonus. That's a magnification. But the house of Aquarius and what that house means, there's only 12 houses. There's only 12 signs. Find the house that I talk about each month and then find its polarity, its opposite. So we just happen to have Mars spending a longer time in Leo with the retrograde and going back into Leo again after it bounces back into Cancer as it ends out begins the year and ends out this year. So Leo, it's going to make it to like 6 or 7 degrees of Leo. So Leo and Aquarius right now, because Pluto is at the early 0 degrees. It moves the slowest. Venus is popping into Aquarius going, hey, I'm going to kiss Pluto around the 6th and the 7th of December. I'm going to kiss it. So Venus, the goddess of love, is going to come to the Lord of the underworld and say, teach me. Teach me about where I go sour with love. Teach me where I have my own preset beliefs and expectations about love, and I dump that on somebody else. I dump it on somebody else to make me happy.
If I have Aquarius and Venus in the 5th house, what does that mean for me?
Creativity. It's an inspirational. It's like the Olympic torch. It's like the Olympic torch lighting the way for a whole new set of games, like the Olympic Games. The torch opens and closes the Olympic Symposium. And so Venus in Aquarius is like, I'm not going to get distracted by anybody else's opinion. I've got to only prove myself to myself, and I've got to focus, and I've got to prioritize. And Aquarius gives you the ability not to let other people's compliments or criticisms distract you. The Aquarius is like, I'm on course. I see the win. You know, it's like a car race or a horse race. There's the race. There's the horse or the car that you bet on. There's the goal, and then there's the prize. So Pluto in Aquarius has got us all starting a new race. We're starting a new vision quest. It's a new race. So whether you're in a high-performance car, a motorcycle, or horse, whatever the race is, we're all entering now. The stakes have been heightened, and we're all entering a new race. And so there's the need for speed. There's the need for precision. Got to be able to handle the horse, handle the car, not get in a crash, not let the horse throw you. All of that is going. There's a course in front of us, and there can be too high speeds. There can be somebody else trying to knock you out of their lane. It can be another horse that trips you up. The jockey falls off the horse. All of those things are possible when you're going at high speed. Aquarius doesn't play around.
Yeah,
Aquarius doesn't get lost in emotion. Oh no. Mm-mm.
That's
Aquarius
what I've noticed is a lot of people. Why are you doing that? Why are you doing this? Or the competition or competing or questioning. And there's always like that part of me that's like, because I want to, because I like it, because that's what I want. You know.
Here's the thing. Yeah, here's the metaphysical secret to that. Stuart Wilde, he's in the spirit world now since 2009. Stuart Wilde was a master soul guide, mystical teacher, especially for men. He did workshops for men in Taos, New Mexico, and Australia. And Stuart Wilde taught when you're going to, the secret to manifesting is to keep your cards close to yourself. Don't go announcing what you're going to do. Don't talk a lot about what you're doing. Don't give the details of it, because other people will either start to dilute it with their negativity or their criticism, or they'll try to take your idea and run with it and beat you to the punch if they have more money or they have other connections or whatever. So Stuart Wilde taught, when you're manifesting something, shut up.
Right.
Only
My
be
dad
involved
used to
with
tell
the
me that
people
too.
that are involved with it.
Yeah.
Well, it's not a mean thing. It's not like you're hurting anybody, but not everybody's going to be able to see the vision of your enthusiasm and your creativity. And if Joe's wanting to manifest something, Joe doesn't need criticism from somebody else that keeps Joe, has known Joe since he was a kid and only knows Joe to act like this. Like they don't see the new version of Joe.
That's that's the big comment I've gotten every time I go through a cycle, there's these people that'll be in my life that'll be like, you know what, I miss the old Joe. And I'm like, that dude's gone. The old Joe is gone.
You know what?
You know what I mean?
You probably didn't appreciate him when you had the old Joe.
That dude's gone, man.
If the old Joe was really successful right. Well, and life, the only constant in life is change, and the signs of change are when things are strong in Gemini and Aquarius and Leo. I mean, these are signs of change, and Libra kind of takes the middle road there, like it wants to see both sides, but Aquarius is like, yeah, I'm moving to the future. See ya.
Hell yeah.
Wouldn't want to be ya. Aquarius is like, ooh, that's an idea. Let's go for it.
Yeah.
So the Aquarius part of all of our horoscopes, the Aquarius part of our chart is where we don't get bogged down in feelings or criticisms or emotions. We see that there's a baptism by fire, and we see that if not me, then who? If I've got a fire in my soul to go experience that, nobody else can do that for me. I've got to stay the course, and I need to go trip the light fantastic and have that experience. It's me. I'm drawn to it. So why do I have to sit back and watch somebody else do it and say, I wonder what that felt like. Oh, they did this or they did that. Nobody's going to be able to have the unique bloom of an experience that you take your faith and you fill the fuel tank up of your faith and you just go for it.
That's another thing, too, isn't comparison? There's a quote of something saying, like, comparison is the thing that causes suffering, right? We know that. So why do you need to validate yourself or compete or whatever when you want to live or create? Like, why do you have to make sure it's okay with everybody else or whatever? Like, who cares, man? When you were a child, you didn't care.
Right. You just had the infectious, desire to go experience things. And listen, there's no doubt in the world, on a global level, on a universal level, on a level of space in the heavens and anomalies, we are going to have things come at us, innovative things come at us, technical things come at us that are so fast and furious We're going to blink our eyes and go, wait a minute, did I just shift to the fifth or the ninth dimension? What's going on here? I mean, we're going to be time travelers, jumping timelines. Stuff that we saw in our dreams that we thought was just a dream is going to be like, boom, there all of a sudden it's going to, holy moly. So we're not only going to have to appreciate change. Change is going to be our main teacher. It's not pain. It's going to be change. And we're going to have to be able to embrace that change and be innovative with it and go, okay, I'm here. I'm fully present. I believe the events that we're going to see globally, the things that we're going to see mystically, the things that we're going to see technically, miraculous healings and all kinds of things that are coming about, all kinds of disclosures that are coming about, new creatures, new places, mysteries under the sea, space, sky, everything. It's just going to be like, oh wow, I get it. This is the fifth fire. This is the Hopi prophecy. This is the blue Kachina. I'm in it. This is the threshold of the Aquarian age. And I said to Joe, there's an old song called "I Can See Clearly Now." Who was it by, Joe? Johnny Nash.
Johnny Nash.
Look it up on YouTube. Yeah, and just look at the lyrics of it. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. Just go in there and let that be almost like a little melodic affirmation that you do with yourself, because it'll help you move immediately into this present moment, which is the gift. And whether you're seeking something for a future manifestation, that kind of song brings you into the present moment, whether you're singing it while you're multitasking or driving or headed to the airport. It keeps your vision on, I see clearly now. I can see clearly now. The rain is gone. All of my obstacles have slipped away. So you're embracing the fact that the time has come. This is your moment. If not you, who? And let December be about less hustle, more healing. Less pressure, more peace. Less rushing, more resting. Less chaos, more calm. So you're going to close out 2024 with grace. And you're going to invite the supernatural, harmonious, divine source present alignment. I allow my divine alignment. I allow anything that was embedded in my subconscious prior to this point, be it past life or this life, I allow the sweetness and the sacredness of my highest spiritual source to do a clean sweep in harmony of my entire cellular nature, my subconscious blocks, shadows. I now release them to the next level of love's light. I embrace the light. I breathe the light. I am the light. I allow the prosperity. I am one with divine alignment, and so it is. That's your Christmas present. That's your Hanukkah light as you light the 8 candles. That's your light as you go into the new year. I am the light. I take the responsibility of the light. And as I put my footprints in this life, on this earth, I choose to make a difference, and I don't need the applause.
Well, this is a first in all of the years we've been doing this broadcast. There was so much to talk about that we didn't have time to take any phone calls.
We can do this to our callers for the next new moon. We'll take a lot of calls. I know. Well, it was meant to be, but that's change.
Right.
But for the December 30th new moon, let's do it. It will take 3/4 of your calls and only 1/4 of those celestial forecast. Yeah, let's do it that way.
Right on. You guys make sure you go to Mary's website, marydusina.com, Mary, and I fixed the banner, by the way, MaryDusina, marydusina.com. Grab a reading for the end of the year. It's a must. It's a must do. You got to do it. And also support this broadcast too. If you haven't already, we'd really appreciate it. And what's your parting gift of words for tonight, Mary?
It's time to expand the grace. It's time to expand peace. It's time for us to be light beings to all the troubled areas of this world. Forget your opinion. Just send light to all the leaders of the world and allow the beautiful hearts of people to rise up in unity, in like a compatible vision of we're all Earth citizens. And as we close out 2024, as we close it out, let's all see light and brightness and harmony. And it's not an airy-fairy wish. Let's put our intentions out there for everything that's filled with grace and harmony and a beloved life experience on our Mother Earth walk. Let's just all gift that to each other. Besides what you do materially, to do gifts in these holiday seasons, give the gift of insight. The gift that keeps on giving comes from your soul. That's the generous fire. So be a part, get more involved with the generosity fire.
There you go, guys. Thanks for coming out tonight. Really appreciate you listening. Your time and your presence means everything to us. Sleep well, sweet dreams. And thanks again, Mary. It was a good show.
Happy holidays. Love you all.
I know, yo. All right. Fantastic, Mary. I love it.